Recorded March 6, 2025. Good afternoon, Brody. Good afternoon, Good afternoon, Ray. So it seems like everybody whose first name starts with R decided they didn't want to come to work today.
Yeah, someone's got to hold down the fort, Edward.
Somebody's got to hold the fort down. Anyway, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty all right. It's been a productive week. It's rare that I get to think about the week that's occurred on the show because we've been on Mondays for so long where I'm basically just fried by the end of the day. So now it's like, okay, I've actually worked this week. I've got some things done, some major milestones, working a lot with management groups and Azure policy and landing zones, infrastructure design, infrastructure security, role-based access control, all the fun stuff.
Is there anything you cannot do?
Yeah. I mean, cook.
A big thing, man. I
can barbecue.
You can barbecue?
I can barbecue.
I will fly up to Canada to get some barbecue. I fancy myself the barbecuist. So
a barbecuist, eh? That's good.
Yeah, man. It's been a good week for me. It was a little bit frustrated with some work, but I took at work win and I took it at home win. I did not realize how terrible my networking skills had gotten. So I did a complete firewall change. Seems like I'm always saying I'm changing my firewall. I don't know what's going on. I couldn't figure out the routing. It was killing me to death. I'm like, why's this stuff not working? So I just went back to old school. You get a big old sheet of paper and you get to writing and you start the drawing. Okay, this connected to here. And I just kept a timeline of what changed. And then all of a sudden the routes changed. I was having some storm issues with some switches that I had. And it happened to be something's going on with my Meraki again. But lo and behold, I tried one thing, I plugged it in. I'm like, oh my God, the storm stopped happening. And the spanning tree stuff started working. And then all the routes started working in the house because I changed out my will you stop, Noodle? I'm not
Edward, was it DNS?
I'm taking it off. Yeah, I had to censor Noodle. Nah, it's sorry, man. Noodle, you're fine.
Cool.
No, it wasn't. Yes and a no.
It was more of a joke. I don't want you to go on a 15-minute tangent.
I had connectivity affirmation and I had some DNS issues, but what I did was I retired the DHCP services off my server and decided to put all those type of IPPN stuff or whatever on the actual appliance. And lo and behold, I just changed one of the core switches and I'm like, it's actually working. And so quickly, what do? You write it all down and you back up the config across everything. And then I print it out. So I go muck around with it a little bit later, but that was a good win. There's some good reading this week. Got a bunch of things on the show notes. I want to share a couple things and we'll go. Let me share my screen and make sure I share the right screen here. I don't want to share the wrong screen. Share screen.
If you see me in and out, my little girl, I'm babysitting.
Oh, that's
I'm daddy sitting and video. Just a heads up.
He's daddy sitting. So I'm looking for. Hold on for a second. Microsoft Edge tab. Yes, how about that one? So you can see my screen. Let me know. I did it. I said that one. I want the entire screen. How about that? Oh, I see what's going on. There you go. All right. So I've been helping someone with some Sentinel learning. And one of the things they wanted to know was there like a little, infograph that instead of having to go to all the learn sites and create this, I'm creating a learning document just to share to my customers so they don't have to, you get distracted when you're trying to, find everything and, you never create it. And so this is pretty cool. Then the show notes, it's Cisco, Microsoft Learning Companion. All these links inside this PDF that we'll put in the show notes have things for, how to start in your Microsoft environment. If you see me moving along, you'll see that these different things are activated by hovering over, including being able to go there. The one thing I tried to do is find the owner of this and see if they can include Rod's books and then include our show in it. So I'm trying to track them down and do it. Oh, look at the baby. This is a family-friendly show. Start them young. Next thing, something really cool. I got this that came up the week that someone wanted to be able to detect adversarial, malicious incidents in their environment by using Sentinel to monitor bad link and malicious link embedment into their Power Platform applications. So this is sort of like micro secure development lifestyle stuff because you're developing apps in Power Platform. So I have this right here in the show notes, and there are detections in Sentinel that can look at certain things when someone has gone in and created a net new Power Platform app that has malicious links. It's telling the person you have a bigger problem than them that. If they are doing this, they have some type of creator admin rights in your Power Platform. And I have never been into this this dashboard. No, I know what Power Apps and all that is. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And then you're going to add sensitivity labels. So this link has a bunch of stuff in it. Sensitivity labels around purview data mapping. We talked about that a little bit in previous shows. Admin activities now, Microsoft Purview, including watching what people are doing with your security Copilot, just framework. Other thing we got, more AI stuff. Legal Week is going on. They're talking about classifications, labeling, data governance. This is actually a pretty good listen to. I didn't want to read it, so I listened to it. And Legal Week is going on. See right there. So this is sort of like a precursor. And actually, some of these folks' names I actually have encountered before. I actually tried to get, I believe, her on, but she was busy for the show. We got the Bad Pilot Camp. Around some threat intelligence. Here we go. We got Microsoft producing some threat intel on Russian state actors, Seashell, Blizzard. Where they come up with these names? This is a good read too, where they're going after Fortinet. Hence, I've been talking about firewalls, right? So my Fortinet I took out of line and put something else in. Still like Fortinet, not bad. Looking at the Microsoft security blog, if you're looking for a place just to see everything, I'm on a notification. So the one about OpenAI calls, this sort of goes back to what Sergey we had on the show 3 shows back about creating your responses into your OpenAI environment. So, and the way my still my favorite app, even over the 3 years, MCAS or whatever you want to call it, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps researchers. So this pattern coming out, and I'm liking the way Defender for Cloud and Defender Cloud Apps are now being mapped to OWASP, looking for large language threats in their top 10 rather than just web vulnerabilities. So pretty good on that too. More stuff on Sentinel, introducing threat intelligence ingestion rules. This is actually pretty good. Sort of a little bit dated, February 14th, but Shiar's been on the show talking about creating these ingestion rules and being able to focus on threat intelligence specifically if they're coming in. I'm not super heavy on that piece. I actually went through it. I'm gonna probably try to play around with it in the lab. And marketing stuff, because you call me a salesperson. Once again, we're in the Gartner. Woo, woo, woo. I liked it because there's audio. Don't necessarily have to read it all out. And a good learning of Entra stuff. Shout out to the guest of the show, Muriel, coming on. This came up. Entra, everything about it, man. Powerful. The theme here, I did a lot of reading this this week. And what's new in XDR? I had to catch up on that because somebody asked me a question about bilateral synchronization between the XDR when you turn that switch on between Sentinel where the incidents are manifested versus how they are portrayed. It was a good read. I thought I knew it down pat. I didn't, and now I know it down pat. And the last one, Copilot AI bounty program. Now, this is a good one. Enhancing security, incentivizing innovation. You're paying people to come out to your stuff. Bounty program is nothing new, but to see them actually go out the AI, I'm wondering if the bounty also leads to people finding out all of this stuff about AI and if it's being responsibly disclosed in accordance with the way the old rules work. Give the vendors a time, have a certain amount of embargo before you go out. This is a great reference site too from Microsoft Security Research Center. I would bookmark this page. This is what I know about, but I don't bookmark. I'm bookmarking it now. That's all I got, man. I'll be quiet from there. How about yourself?
Should get to our guest because you just dropped the entire last 3 weeks of internet security literature on all of us. I nothing to say other than
cool. In 3 minutes.
The blog, you're like, this is old, and it's like it's February 16th. Like, Edward, it's not old. Okay, 3 weeks old isn't old, you know. Other than that, I can't wait to see the links. I was just trying to keep my little girl from pulling up my cord the entire time. So I got nothing to add, but I'd love to get to our guest because I'd love to hear her stories. Do you want to do
we're bringing our guest on.
All right.
Hey, it's Laura. Hey, Laura. She's like the Oscars. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you so much. I like to thank God. I like to thank everybody to help me and all that stuff, right?
I brought Brody's daughter a book. Can you see it?
We have that book.
Oh, Quantum Physics for Babies.
We got the whole series. Yeah, we got the whole series.
We are all nerds.
Yeah, we're all exactly. My wife picked it up. They did a really good job of explaining.
I think so. It's my shower gift I give to all my nieces and nephews when they have babies.
That's perfect. Yeah. I don't know if you know, it comes in a 4-pack and it's just fantastic. Yeah. It's like it's perfect. Yeah.
Like this is why Auntie Laura didn't buy you a gift, because in the future in quantum entanglement, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I'm not buying you a cat. Did you hear what happened to Schroeder's cat? There you go. So that's what's going on, all right? So Laura,
yes,
thank you so much for coming on the show. You and I've had time to talk before the show, and I'm excited to have you on. I've had people reach out to me behind the scenes. We're excited to have you on. One of your peers and colleagues, especially, we talked about. He was all stoked about it. So please introduce yourself. I know we have it in the bio and all the show notes, but tell us who you are, what you do, and why did you choose to just throw away an hour of your life to come on this show?
Thanks, Edward and Brody. I'm Laura Buska, and I'm a seasoned professional with a robust background in AI and cybersecurity, Azure, and application development as well. I'm currently spearheading innovative initiatives at Microsoft, and today I've established an AI practice with my team. I lead a team of architects within an organizational unit at Microsoft, and our mission is to teach, coach, and guide customers in adopting Copilot AI. Cybersecurity plays a pivotal role in my career, and I'm very dedicated to ensuring our customers have serenity through strong security practices as they embrace our AI technologies right now. But prior to this, I established a cybersecurity practice with a similar mission at Microsoft.
You said serenity.
Serenity.
It sounds like we're trying to get along with AI. So we all work better together. That's what it is.
You know the serenity prayer, right? And I think about it in terms of a mood, right? And the mood being good things will happen, bad things will happen, but we're gonna be all okay.
Perfect.
I love hearing that. Absolutely. So you were saying that you were a manager over solution architects. Are they specifically geared toward cybersecurity, or they're geared toward AI, or they're geared toward all things that? Because it seems like it doesn't seem to be any demilitarization now or any dilemma there. It seems like if you're a solution architect, you're expected to know security. Is that the case? Everybody on your team is that way?
Yeah, pretty much everybody. I have a DLP CSA on my team, Cloud Solution Architect.
Okay,
nice.
On my team as well. So we've even we're pulling you closer in the AI space. We want security very close to what we do, because when we're adopting Copilot in particular, or AI in general, when we address security up front, it makes life a lot easier for everybody, right? You don't want to get into your project and roll it out and be working on it for several months and then meet up with the security team. With our customer base, we want to meet up with security right off the bat. And you don't want your customers sharing things that they're not that they don't want to share, right? So that's number one concern. Handle the sharing.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's got to come up across all different facets of customers that you and your team service, right? They want to get in on the AI serenity, right? But there are risks associated with what that looks like once it's within the environment. How do you craft those conversations, right? How do you still encourage to take advantage of this amazing new technology wave while doing it in a secure fashion without blocking, transformation through security? Like it's a complicated topic.
Yeah, it's a great question because it was my number one concern building out this team, right? Because a lot of times, especially Microsoft folks, we go to the, I'm going to tell you everything that can go wrong before you start your project, right? And so we can scare people that way, right? How do we do it by building confidence? And so it's a prerequisite, and it's just, as you're getting ready to adopt AI, have you handled this? Oh, you don't know? Well, why don't we get security in the room and we'll talk about it.
We sort of started in the present about what you're doing, but part of the celebration, I like using big words too. Celebration of March. Now Sabrina's gonna be stuck in my head all the days. I love it. How about you give us a journey? One of the things I've loved about what we've done with this month for the last 3 years is we get people's journey. How did you get here? Was cybersecurity? You said you did 17 years at Microsoft, so
yeah.
What prior to that? Was it a deliberate pivot at some point? Because I never knew I wanted to get into it. It's a thing now, right?
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of a journey, a little bit how you got to where you are right now, and take as much time as you want, please.
All right, sounds good. I really gained a lot of valuable experience working at other large companies prior to Microsoft, including GM, United Health Group, and various startups as well. So I've got small company, big company, entrepreneurial spirit going on. And my interest, I'd go way, way back to my interest in breaking in all things security goes back to kindergarten. I broke out of kindergarten 3 times in the first day because my mom's really fun. Who wants to stay there? My family loves to tease me about it. It's only been 50 years, but we're still talking about Laura breaking out of kindergarten. Fast forward to getting a job, 50% of my career has been in app dev, and you get exposed to security and app dev, right? A lot of the time. Other 50% has been in the infrastructure and mostly at Microsoft. And I got to Microsoft by the invitation of a wonderful guy, Scott Seelock. He got me in 17 years ago. We were working on a big mainframe project. And while we were working on this big mainframe project, we essentially found a back door while we were doing the migration. And that happens a lot when you're doing migrations, right?
Yeah.
You find stuff. And I was very naive back then. I thought, oh gosh, Larry and Tom, they found this back door. People could have paid off their mortgages by, going in there and changing their balance to 0. And we were all excited. And I remember going to bed that night and saying, wow, they're going to get awards. They're going to be on stage. They're going to, cash is coming their way. I was so proud of Tom and Larry. And instead, people got really mad at us. And because we'd found something they may have been using, maybe. I don't know. There was a lot of us, right?
Spicy.
That kind of piqued my interest in security. And then I came to Microsoft and gave up my dev. I thought I was coming to do development work. I did all infrastructure. So got into our entire stack, and then moved around from consulting to services, and then was managing architects and consultants. And the most fun I had was building that cyber team. So solely focusing on it, because a lot of times you have these jobs where I had AI folks, modern work, security, desktop, everybody was on my team, but the cyber guys were always having a lot of fun. So my good friend Keith said, you should go for that job. We're going to start up a new practice in the CSUs, in these organizational units. And so he coached me through the interview process, and I got that job, and starting that up was a blast. It's just a blast. And that's where I met Rod Trent.
Wow. So it sounds like a lot of disciplines. It sounds like a lot of experience, and one thing I like is that you mentioned people in your journey, not just the tech. But if they were part of the story, and I like to tell their story about who were instrumental in helping me either make a choice, giving me a chance, coaching is the biggest thing, right? And coaching, doesn't have to be sensei, rub your chin, master of all things, right? It could be as simple as don't waste your time on that, right? So I've been a benefit of a lot of coaching. 17 years at Microsoft. That in itself is a journey, right? And I have not had the privilege of being here that long. I think I'm getting ready to hit maybe 9. I'm not sure. Time doesn't mean anything. It seems like sometimes, right? It goes too slow when you want it to go fast. With this new team that you have, I don't know how many you have on your team, but how do you maintain, what drives the focus of how you lead your team about where their time is spent around skilling, learning? I happen to know some of your counterparts reports because they're CSAs also, and I'm working some active projects. I may be working some active projects with some of your reports. So how do you go about staying relevant and your team being relevant? And I know it's a little bit different from being a consumer of the technology as we are the proprietors of the technology, right? So that's always fascinated me. How do managers stay relevant, right? Are you a hands-on manager? Do you try to lead by example?
Hands-on, but not micromanaging, right? Yeah. Going deep on the technology. I have my own Azure tenant, right? But I don't walk around saying, I'll do that.
I broke out of kindergarten once, so I got that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And so listening to podcasts, like to really get deep on security when I started that practice, I spent all my time catching up, right? Like it had been because I was scattered before that. So you got to find time. But when I start something new, I usually go really deep. I'm listening to guys like you talk about cyber. I'm reading all the stuff I can get my hands on. With AI, we're all self-learning, right? We're all self-taught, right? So with AI, it was the same thing, going deep, getting outside of Microsoft and learning about the entire market, and bringing that back. And then we nerd out on a regular basis with each other and inspire each other about AI.
Yeah, it's you mentioned that the security aspect around AI, but within Microsoft, there seems to be two lenses you're looking through, right? We had a guest on, Sergey, 2 shows back maybe, and he was talking about incident response and automation using AI. He was really deep into the Azure Open AI aspect of it. Is your security Copilot or just securing AI? Which one is it?
Oh, it's just securing AI. Yep.
How is that? How is it securing AI? Does it bleed over into what Microsoft is spending a lot of time, money, effort, marketing on security Copilot? Is that a thing in your realm of purview? No pun intended about it. So, how much do you bleed over between having to do something with security Copilot, which seems to be the same but different, versus Azure OpenAI?
I think that if I understand your question correctly, I think security for Copilot for security, however we're saying it these days, is going to be amazing. And it's not I'm not using it every day. I think it's very specific to the security space. And so I want to go deep on it. And it's kind of on my next thing to learn. But I want to I want to see the folks that are working in security get the benefits of what I see in our large language models every day. It makes large language models makes my job so much easier.
Yeah.
And if you think about, like, I think about it in terms of when I took calculus in high school, We had to think, my teacher made us do the long math before he gave us the formula, right? Your differential equation, I did it by hand
I
before
remember.
the formula.
Show your work.
My 35 years working, I've done all this stuff by hand, and now I do it in 5 minutes. Like I look at simple things that took me a week or taken me 5 minutes, and I think about that for Copilot for security. I mean, everything that we can do to automate and make us safer, faster is a thing. And so super, super interested in it.
Very cool. Hey, Laura, how are there specific areas that you believe are good call outs for folks who are listening and viewing in terms of like how, what are some key items that Microsoft recommends we look at when it comes to securing AI, right? Like, zero trust pillars or just, like your high level like core areas you really got to focus on first, right? Things you need to think about right away if you want to get involved with utilizing AI broadly in your organization.
Yeah, we really focus on the oversharing and go deep on oversharing, right? And we use our DLP to handle that. We also focus a lot on just basically finding concerns other than oversharing that need to be addressed, and we know that like with Entra, we if we have everything handled with Entra, then we're in a good place. So those are kind of just two key things that we hone in on: oversharing and being able to use Entra.
Love that. I would agree with both of those. Yeah, very important pillars. Yeah, you nailed the question. Great job.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. I'm no stump the chump here, but I try to keep it high level. You said you wanted to geek out a bit, so that's good.
I see it. So now I'm going to pivot out of the technical piece and let's go into managerial piece.
Okay.
How is it that you keep your staff motivated and eyes on it? There's so much going on. There's so much I feel overwhelmed.
So many emails, Laura. Tell your bosses we want less emails. Okay.
We want more emails. I hear you say you want more emails.
They want more emails.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
With so much going on, I feel as though I'm pulling 9 different ways. My role implies that you're supposed to be a subject matter expert across the stuff. That's not realistic. You just cannot. So how do you go about narrowing the vision to keep your team motivated? And the second thing is you from my understanding, you have a extremely talented group of individuals on your report. Without giving away any secrets of motivation, how do you keep them? I know that they're getting called all the time. I know they've been asked to come over. The people who are at the place where they make the secret sauce. So how do you make it a fun work environment? There you go.
Okay. How do you make a fun work environment?
There you go. That's the wrong.
Do new things. I think the thing about AI for me has been really the most exciting part has been I've got a team of folks that are young and old. Like we're going from 30s to almost 60s, right? Everybody taught themselves AI. How exciting is that? And they come to me and say things like, "This is the most exciting thing I've ever done. Like I'm re-enlivened. I was getting burned out in my job, and now I know this." And so I think that's taught me that everybody wants to continually learn. In the brain, especially our brain, with technical depth, we want to keep learning. So I think that learning, overcoming obstacles makes life fun. And one area I want to always focus with teams, and hopefully everybody that's ever reported to me recognizes this, is that we work on building trust. And what that means is having ability, having sincerity, and having care. Yeah. So building your skills and having that ability to follow through on the promises you make, being sincere about your conversations and what you offer to people, and then having care and really knowing what your customer needs and what's important to them and their business.
Yeah, that's harder than it sounds, especially, I'm in a role where Brody likes to tease me, you're not technically more, you're a salesperson. And for years, that was a running joke. But realized Brody was just a soothsayer who tells the truth, right? I'm very much a salesperson, but expected to be level 400. And I'm like, do I close the deal or do I lab it out? Close the deal. That's how you go do it. With that, you're doing the themes that are very centric to self-improvement, improvement of those who trust you as their manager and purveyor of all things goodness in your group. What about the other things? How do you find time outside of your work to be able to recharge? Because one thing I found that I said on the last show, when Limke was on the show, I find that a lot of women who are in cyber always have an avenue where they do mentor to get more women into cyber, to make sure that the good work is not lost, and you where some women may be intimidated by coming into the field, feel as though you have to be a genius to be into the field. I know that's not true. I'm a living testament to that. I'm a bag of rocks that happen to be in the right place at the right time. So what do you do outside of this hardcore tech that gives your mind and your spirit time to sort of recharge?
Exercising, I think, is number one. So I want to be the most fit person in the nursing home, right? So that's the goal.
I'm going to use that. Thank you. The LAN parties are going to be great in the nursing home, but I still want to be the fittest one there. Yeah, I like that.
That's great. I'll be racing the other old ladies down the hall.
Yeah.
It really, the other day was having a bad few weeks there, just kind of feeling sad. And we worked out early in the morning, and just shifting when we work out, that changed my mood for the day. So really, I find that working out is really big. Eating well, getting rest, all the Dr. Gervais stuff really means a lot, right?
Go figure.
We talked about running, and you were like, yeah, well, you can keep that long distance stuff. I like to run fast. Get it over with.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time, so I sprint. But sometimes we could tend to go where we're feeling love too, right? Like I love going to work and being in here and really fun and having all this good time. So having balance too, right? The fact that Brody's got his daughter on the call with him, that's a big deal. That means a lot. And
that shows that we are a very family driven and work-life balance show here.
And your kids are watching you guys. They need you. Dads are important, and they're watching you, and so your little girls, they want to do what you do, from spending this time with you. So I think about inspiring other people. Artie Borkar, our great CVP now at Microsoft in cybersecurity, she talks about mentoring women and how important it is. So it's always about being friendly too, right? Like giving someone a hug and reminding them some days are good and some days are bad, but we're going to be okay.
Love it. Yeah. Well, especially when you work in the field or work with the field broadly, right? Customers broadly. It's hard. There are some hard times at work, right? It's not, I can relate. I just want to throw that out there. I mean, it sounds like you've been in broadly services, if we want to define it that way.
Yeah.
For a long time now, right? And there's a lot of opportunities to leave services in Microsoft, but you're still here fighting the fight. And so you must love it. You must love your team. And, the day-to-day is, it is what it is, right? Like there's challenges that come up and then there's going to be fun that comes from that. But I mean, it seems like you've got a really solid perspective on that. And obviously your team, I'm sure shares the appreciation for having such a great manager who's thinking about them and their fun and their future and all that jazz. So I just want to throw that out there as feedback and comments.
Yeah, it's needed, right? Because a safe harbor is also needed when you're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad weeks sometimes. I think that I had a bad winter this whole world, right? So what's the cool thing that you are doing personally as far as work, and what you're encouraging your team to sort of, hey, go look at this tech. It's sort of hard when you work at the place that's one of the large scale innovators who sort of drive the industry, right? If you listen to Forrester and Gardner, right? So how do you figure out, hey, do you have time to nerd out really? That doesn't necessarily include your job. Say, hey, I'm going to go do this thing because I think it's cool. I'm never a big consumer tech guy, so what do you do to nerd out?
Yeah, so my secret is that my husband is as much into AI as I am, but he's an investor. And so he's feeding me stuff constantly. So it's nothing but nerd out. We're at AI at breakfast. AI decides what we're going to have for dinner.
Wow.
And then we've got articles flowing back and forth between each other. Hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see that? So really the market, that large language model market, is really interesting to me. And, from a nerding perspective, I'm not building code, but I'm using AI constantly to try to push it to do things that maybe we don't think it could do. I'm always interested in seeing what my team's up to with it and asking them to challenge themselves in a big way. One guy on my team, David, is just built himself using the large language model. He was doing some PowerShell scripting so that his customer could use it and see where patching needs to happen. I mean, super nerdy, right? But without having to know PowerShell. So he's, it's fun to push the boundaries, be creative.
Yeah, no doubt. Plus, that helps your daily active usage of Copilot, right? Which I'm sure
is the daily active
important thing.
Right? Matter of fact, I need to do something Copilot today to get my quota in. They're watching.
Yeah. How about you? Are you guys geeking out on AI at all?
I'm like legit though. I'm like I was I was using OpenAI 4.0 model because it was faster for a while, and then I heard about this daily active usage contest, we'll call it, at Microsoft. We're now number 9 in our grouping of people that we're competing with, and so I said today, oh, we're number 9. Manager is really happy. Anyway, I digress. And like, so something I try to do is like, how can I make my life easier as a consultant? Because it's been busy. I had to take over like a big project, and it's some domains that I'm definitely not seasoned in, but I'm learning every day. And I'm just trying to find ways to make my life easier and drive value for the customer and make sure that my team's got everything that they need. And so I'm like literally spending my entire day in Copilot for the most part, right? Like back and forth, whatever I need, and let's just get this out of the way. You need to double check and validate, right? And I think part of how you prompt and interact with AI, you can do self-validation if you're smart about it. But it will deceive you. It'll lie to you. I asked it to do a task, and I said, I need to do this task 600 more times. Like, can you just automate this whole thing for me? And I went on this huge tangent about like, yeah, just open the sharing permissions and send me the sharing link, and I'll take care of that. I'm like, really? And I did all that, and then I'm like, okay, here you go. It's like, great, I'll get to work on that right away. I'm like, how long is this going to take you? Like, oh, a few hours. I'm like, okay. Can you do one thing to like make sure that you can actually perform this task? And then it like takes a minute to think, and it's like, oh, actually, I can't do this whatsoever. So I just straight up like fabricated and lied to me what was going on. But lately,
call that creativity, Brody.
Right, yeah. Super creativity. But like, I got to say, like, the biggest thing that I want to be a proponent of in terms of AI right now is building a council of experts when you have problems. Right. Yeah. So you ask it, I have a problem. If you had to form the greatest team of experts to ever deal with this problem ever before seen in history, who would that team be? And it gives you the team. And you basically say, okay, you are now that team. Right. Here is what I need. I want to see crosstalk between each of these individual experts. I want your summarization of your thoughts. I want you to challenge each other's perspectives. And you get this huge output where the AI basically argues and debates itself and then breaks down its reasoning. And you follow it up with like something like and include clickable reference links. And then it actually tells you like where it got the information from. So it's not like fabricating it out of left field, right? And I think like using tools like this in my everyday has turned into a kind of an obsession to see how much I can automate and get things done in a faster, more accurate amount of time.
Yeah.
I think my thing is to take on technologies that seem very abstract because I don't have a way for practical application. No, one of my secret dirty pleasures is learning about quantum computing. I am fascinated about.
Yeah.
It is the basis of all science fiction. If you're going to do interstellar travel, you're going to have to be able to do quantification and analysis of things that you think may be there.
Right.
And so I see science fiction pushing the boundaries of what is absolutely impossible, to say that it's impossible because we either don't have the physical materials. The physical materials are important. You're not going to jump galaxies with the materials we use to make, orbital devices. They won't last, right? It just doesn't. The measure doesn't up. To be able to do the quantum, computing, to be able to understand, if I jump here, I'm going to be here, right? So that's my little thing that I like. I'm reading about cubics and I'm fascinated. People can get superconductivity at room temperature, which, material science, right? So those are some of the things I do. And it seems like it's not work, right? I can go do it. I can just read about it and do those things. With the AI, yeah, we geek out. I mean, I'm using Copilot, GPT, Gemini, Bard, Gamma. I forget the one that Rod told me to use. It was around really good one around images. So it's fun. But I think I find that my wife is into real estate and is an agent and a consultant, to watch it transform her industry, where instead of having to write a binding agreement or doing a listing she used AI, and then he went out to Google Earth, captured pictures of the home from previous things, and just put everything together. So something that literally took her a day to get a listing ready to go on the market, she's done in 2 hours.
Right.
If that,
right.
Just done. And then another 20 minutes to do a sanity check, is what Brody said. AI is not lying to you. It is trying to please you. It doesn't want to let you down.
That's that's fair. And I've yelled at it before. I get a little sad, but I do thank AI when it does a good job, and I do get a little mean with it when it doesn't, and I need to be better.
The minute that AI can deliberately lie to you, we're in trouble. Because now we talk about self-preservation and doing what is important to itself. Right now, it just wants to please. We call it hallucinations and all this other stuff. It just wants to please us. It doesn't want to give you a bad answer. When it starts to want to make sure, oh yeah, you can drink that bleach, you're fine.
And it lowers stress, right? Do you use it for your emails when you get a angry customer, an angry coworker email? Do you ever have it do the response for you?
I have done that recently. Or like, I have feedback on this person. I'm going to scrub it with AI first before sending it to someone.
But I've done that, and make sure I know my names. The person responded back. A personal response would have been much more authentic, because it didn't sound like me.
You gotta say, don't sound like Copilot. You just say that to it.
What I did. And so now I felt bad. Then I blame Copilot. So it's okay.
So you might take a break from Copilot for a bit while
I'm using it. What I really want to get is to the real nuts and bolts, underlining with Azure OpenAI and being able to see. One of the things I wanted to do is get a fundamental understanding, and I actually I'll take a break. I'll go off camera, let Brody babysit and do so. I want to show you guys a book that I recommend. I'm not being sponsored by him, but I want to grab it really quick and show you, because I'm trying to get yet another certification. But let me grab it and go off camera so that
okay.
See this.
Okay. There you go, Laura. You inspired him to go pull from his library. Excellent.
Great, cool.
Yeah, that is good.
So I have some filler conversation for you if you need.
Oh, wonderful! I was going to come up with a question within the next 5 seconds, but if you would like to offer some filler, I will take you up on that.
I think Edward wanted me to tell a Rod Trent story.
Oh yeah, I don't want to miss that. No, that's not have filler. We're gonna say that for the show, because I want to hear about this Rod trick. But no, so one thing I like doing, if I'm going to learn, it's okay to drink the Kool-Aid here. It's great working at Microsoft. That's okay. I like a certain flavor of Kool-Aid. I'll drink that flavor, repetitively. But you need to have some type of juxtaposition to understand what it is the common denominator across all of them. So 2 books.
Big word.
Reading this one.
All right. For business leaders. Yeah. It's already in the book. That was fast.
And
yeah, I wrote it.
All right.
For those. And then I want to get the certification, not to prove expertise in it, but to sort of measure my commitment to study and go take the exam. It's here.
Oh.
Cool.
And Nicole Joy Immigrant, she's actually a heavy in the AI from a business standpoint. And so this
I
particular
like the book. I like the
certification,
stars. It's very nice.
yep, and I'm taking the practice exams too. And you would think that, they ask some very simplistic questions here. I'll give you one. I read it's not giving
Please,
something
we'd love
away.
one. Yes.
It goes, well, you have to read the whole thing. they give you this scenario to get the truth they do too.
Question.
Yeah, and so this is where I'm spending the time in. I'm trying to become a little bit business agnostic to understand where everybody's approach is. But the business leaders are the ones who are going to drive either the adoption of AI on a wholesale. It's not the tech. The tech is so far advanced and so far of the applicable and meaningful use cases. And use cases, being geeks and nerds, you don't drive the use cases. That's what drive money. And when you follow the money, you will follow the innovation.
You got it, Edward. When Copilot first came out and we put our Tiger team together to get started on it, Jennifer on my team went out to meet with some customers, and she's super nerdy. She goes deep on everything. And she comes back and she says, "Oh no, this is a business conversation. I better retrain myself to talk to business people." And she changed it for all of us when she said that.
Yep. Smart though. You got to align with business and security, right?
One of my good friends, he's an ATS here. He said one of the things at the time I found sort of scratching my bald head. He said, AI is not about productivity and efficiency. And that goes against all the marketing, right? Oh, you can replace, or you can do it faster, or you reduce. He said it is about finding new lines of business and revenue. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. He said the innovation is going to happen. It will get better if people work on it, but will it create different business opportunities in different lines of business for companies who may not have realized, because that is what companies are struggling with. They're always looking to say, where can I drive more new business? And I believe that the financial industry, your husband's on point. That's where it's going. For everything from financial advisement to AI is creating new credit cards, right? Let's get a credit card that pays you back from buying cat food. Because who knew that cats eat a lot of food, right? I don't know. So I want to really look at it from a business. And then the responsible AI, big shout out to you, Richard Diver, who does a great series about responsible AI usage and governance. Him and Brody are really good friends. Brody has been working on it. This book sort of lends into it. And once again, I'm not endorsed by the book. I wish I can get a signed copy of it. And it's an easy read, right? It looks thick, but it's
Is that pictures?
No pictures, right?
No pictures.
Don't fill in the blanks, the colors.
Use some pictures. Yeah, I had a 1-hour conversation with AI about my snowboarding stance. So it's good for all kinds of things. But Laura, we got to hear this Rod Trent story. All right, this is crucial to the show's success.
All right. Please. So hopefully Rod and I are still friends after this. I won't say anything bad.
Good start.
When I first met Rod, when I had a huge team, it was like 43 people on the team. We were hiring big time at Microsoft, and we centralized our hiring. So I didn't go out and find Rod. Rod found me. So my girlfriend, Sonia, she's on point for the hiring team. She calls me and she says, "All right, your next hire is incoming and you're welcome." And she teases me like that. I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? What's going on?" She goes, "Just, you're welcome." So I meet Rod for our first one-on-one. And Rod says, "I'm a blogger. I'm an author. I do events. Basically, I assessed he's a tech rock star." And from that conversation, and he says, "And I haven't worked a 9-to-5 job for a long time, so I don't know how this is going to go."
What's an email?
Oh yeah.
Respond to those. So fast forward, I said to what I say to all people who join us who are of a mature age: here's a computer, go meet with some customers. I don't know how it goes.
That's a good story, right? And I didn't realize
there's more. Well, there's more, Edward.
There's more, Edward.
There's
Wait
more.
till the end of the story, Edward.
Well, she didn't get the pause right. She gave me
No,
like
you just love to talk. That's what. It's not her pause. It's you wanting to talk. Go ahead, Laura. Keep going. Yeah.
So he chooses what he's going to teach himself, and he teaches himself Sentinel and KQL. He becomes an expert on Sentinel KQL really quickly. And then he shows me his magic, and he comes back to where we meet up again on my security team, and he's made a whole bunch of customers lovers of Sentinel, and his numbers are huge. And people are like, "Have you met Rod?" I'm like, "Yeah, I met Rod when he first started." Yeah, he would. I said, "Rod, how did you do it? How did you convert so many customers to love Sentinel?" And he was like, "Well, it's really simple. I meet with him 4 times. The first time I meet with him, I get them to stand up Sentinel next to their product that they already have. And I say, I'll be back in a little bit. We'll let it run here." Comes back for the second meeting. What did you notice? And he has a conversation about them if they noticed anything. And the third time, inevitably, it catches stuff their other products didn't catch. and I ask them again, what did you notice? And this time they're excited. And they usually ask me if they can now go ahead and install it, and they would love to own it, like have it full time. So he did exactly what I want every leader on my team to do, right? He made powerful offers to them. He had the wisdom to know how to do it and take smart action. And he cared about what the customer cared about. And then all of our sales team copied his approach. So he was,
of course,
and the sales team was copying him. So it was just really wonderful. I learned a ton from it. So he should.
That's a great story. It's actually a compliment to Rod. Of course, Rod is a technical rock star. And hey, that is consultative listening, right? He's going in, he's got expertise, he's dropping the cool stuff down, and he's letting them sit with it for a while, and he just talks and listens. And I mean, that's exactly what you got to do. You got to develop relationships and show people the goodness.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And he is very good at that because he has this unique thing of being able to attach himself, but not see me as though where I've been, I always come across as a salesperson, right? And I love the technology, and I want to do what's right for the customer, but in the end, the motivation is like, yeah, I need you to come on. This is a no-brainer, right? And I think that's why he and I have been such good working peers and friends and comrades, because we have that. It'll come to a point where I'm like, yeah, it's cool, man, but how do we make money? Somebody has to ask that question. That's why you have startups. You got to go get somebody. But he does it. He has the way of. We have a huge following by virtue of this podcast. He's very community driven. That's what it is. He wants everybody to do the best that they can with the technology that they have, and he rarely takes liability of the technology. I'll say that very much. I didn't write it, but I will see it and help you try to use the best of it. Right.
That's right.
Laura, hey, there's an idea. You need to use AI to create a virtualized Rod Trent that can help mentor your team.
The Rod agent.
The Rod agent.
Yes.
Rod agent.
Great idea.
It sounds like something to be like, man, you got that Rod agent. I know it's all over me. I hear the cream.
He had Rodbot for a while. He has his
we had Rodbot.
He's got Rodbot. Yeah. I don't know what Rodbot's up to. Probably up to no good. Probably just running on a Microsoft subscription right now, gaining the world's knowledge.
He's using RCUs, Rod consumption units. So there you go.
I think Agent Rod would make him happier, though, because he's got that thing for the $6 million man.
Exactly.
So
we're trying to get him.
Rod.
We're trying to get him help. I've done all I can. I don't know what else to do.
I am wondering if your theme song is from the $6 Million Man.
I wondered where he got it from. He never has answered.
He told me, and I can't remember what it is. And I was this week telling Rod's dirty secret. He has a spider fetish. How many people know he keeps tarantulas all in his house? Yes, you guys know that, right?
I did not know that he has a.
If he ever pans his screen, look into his terrarium, I guess, whatever you put big spiders in, you'll see a spider big as your hand sitting in there. I was like, yeah, you're creepy. I'm not doing that. But Laura, thank you so much as we come to the end of the show, we'd like for you to close it out. Anything you want to give shout outs to, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to throw under the bus, throw under the train, throw under the plane.
When you want to inspire to join your team or join, Microsoft, like young women on this journey,
yes,
and security, like, yeah, give us your final thoughts. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, all young women who are on this journey, we got to connect. Huge appreciation for my husband and for all the men at Microsoft who have been so welcoming and kind and gentle and tough on me. All my friends, Sonia, sister in security.
Security sister.
Who got me into Microsoft. We talked about Keith, who supported me and encouraged me to get into cybersecurity all up, and all my buddies who work in the security practice. We all started it together. Omar, Jay, Renan, Rudy. I can't remember everybody's name, but love you all. So
yeah, I get to work alongside Omar. He's a great dude.
Good.
And Omar, if you're listening to the show, which you should be, move to Atlanta. It's warm down here right now. Don't freeze. Well, everyone, I'd like to thank Laura once again for coming on to the show and participating in our 3rd annual Women in Cyber. I love the geekiness. I love that she's a runner, and most of the time she was like, "Oh no, I don't run slow. I run fast." And said it with, as a matter of fact, I run very fast. Good. and giving shouts out to her husband, who's in finance, but the AI, he's in the right field. He's doing the right things. I could see you calling in Rich one day. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call in Rich today. I won't be at work today, and I'm done. Right. We will be back Monday for our next show in the continuing Women in Cyber Security Month. We are super excited to bring to the end of the month, March 31st, an all-day show where we're going to have panelists coming in throughout the day. And I'd like to say thank you again, Laura. One of the commitments of coming on the show, you didn't read the fine print. One day you have to come in and guest host.
I'm all for that.
Y'all good.
We all need an Edward break, Laura. It'd be great to have you on.
I know. I need a break from me, right? Who you tell? Right? I look in the mirror and was like, "Oh, what's wrong with you, Edward?"
No, we love you, Edward. We love you. But it sounds like Laura just was highly interested in this. Other guests are like, "Oh, that's a surprise." Laura was all
for it. Podcasting.
Yes. So everyone. We'll be back to our regular time on Monday, but we're still having midweek shows that will be on Thursday. And I'd like to say thank you so much again. I'm looking forward to it. And please continue to listen to the show and come on and pop in. And if you ever need anything from the MSI podcast family, you're more than welcome. We're here. So
just email Edward. Send all your emails to Edward. Thank you, Laura.
Yes. Use Copilot.
Bye, all.
All right. I'd use Copilot to make my email seem less threatening. Make my email less threatening. There you go. Let's see everybody.
See ya.
Take care.